to Wonderland. For your safety, please remain seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the caterpillar. Watch your children, and keep an eye out for the white rabbit.
This is the Global Broadcasting Service, serving remote outposts since 1928.
Welcome to Disneyland, the happiest place on earth.
From Walt Disney and all of the Disneyland staff, we hope that you have a very enjoyable day at Disneyland.
WDW Radio, your information station.
Something special is happening at Disneyland. It's turning 70, and the year-long Celebrate Happy Party is packed with magic, surprises, returning favorites, and a little bit of history in the making. Join me and theme park journalist Carly Wiesel as we unlock what's new, what's back, and why you need to visit. From Paint the Night and World of Color to Duffy's Return, Magic Band Plus secrets, new merch and food, and the first ever Walt Disney audio animatronic. Hello, my friend, and welcome to WDW Radio, your guide to the Disney parks, movies, and experiences from around the world. I am Lou Mongello, and this is show number 829, and for more than 20 years, we've been sharing our love of Disney here on the podcast, my weekly live video every Wednesday night, blog, community events, group cruises, and more. And whether you've been with us since the very beginning or this is your first episode, welcome home. Thank you for being here, and please join the community and conversation over at www.radio.com/clubhouse. Be sure to stay tuned for our Disney Trivia Question of the Week for your chance to win a Disney Prize package. My free 102 Things to Do at Walt Disney World at Least Once book is also free when you sign up for my weekly email newsletter. And if you're looking for a keynote speaker, coach, or conference to help you grow your brand and business, please visit LouMongello.com. And if you are a creator or solopreneur ready to build real momentum in your business and life, please join me this October in Walt Disney World for my Momentum Weekend Workshop. Tickets are on sale now at LouMongello.com/momentum. Space is very limited. We're more than 60% sold out, and this is your chance to lock in the lowest possible prices. Let's connect and chat on social. I am at Lou Mongello on all platforms, and if you enjoy this week's show, and I hope that you do, please take a moment to rate, review, and share it with a friend. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of the WDW Radio Show. This year, Disneyland, the original park that Walt Disney himself walked in, dreamed through, and opened to the world in 1955, is celebrating its 70th anniversary. 7 decades of magic, memories, and Mickey. And this milestone is more than an anniversary. It is a celebration of happiness, legacy, I think a little bit of not so distant nostalgia, and everything that Disneyland means to fans from around the world. So this week, we're going to talk about what is new, what's not, which will make sense soon enough, and what you need to see, eat, do, and experience during Disneyland's 70th anniversary celebration. And to help me explore this celebration of happy, the new entertainment, energy, magic, merch, memories, and Munchables was the only word about food I could think of them, and what makes these moments so meaningful. I'm excited to be joined by somebody who lives and breathes the theme park beat right from Disneyland's backyard. You probably know her as a very prolific writer, magazine reporter, and voice behind very amusing, one of the most fun and thoughtful theme park podcasts out there. And she's somebody who I think knows how to balance her love of churros and journalism better than anyone I know. I want to welcome for the very first time, the one and only Carly Wiesel.
Lou, thank you so much. I hope you know that you just solidified yourself in a new job as being my hype man. I will be requiring you to recite those words before I see anyone going forward, so I appreciate it.
Your PR team reached out to me and said, this is what Carly demands you say when you introduce her. It was a lot longer.
My rider is very intense.
Look, we have... You know, it's funny. We have seen each other for years at events. Normally just sort of that, you know, it started off with that passing glance, and then it was a wave, then it was a hey, and then over time, and I think as Disney does, this event finally brought us closer to actually having some time to chat and have some meaningful conversation. So when I thought about recording a show about Disneyland's 70th anniversary, you immediately came to mind.
I am so flattered to be here. I mean, I feel like I don't know, I'm at like the podcast pinnacle. It feels like I've just like climbed a staircase made of clouds to the heavens. It's really, it's such an honor to be able to hang out with you professionally in real life. But now to do it on the pod, Lou, I am flattered. And anytime I get to see you, it's just like, it's a reminder that like we have the silliest, most amazing job in the world. And we're always doing things where we're like, wow, tough day. And it's like, gotta see another nighttime show. It's just so bananas. And I love that we share this same silly journey.
We also share something else that we have in common too, which Mouse Fan Travel.
Yes. Doesn't it feel a little like we were like both in the same fraternity in college? It feels like we're bonded for life now, Lou. We love them.
We're going to do another show, Top 10 Things You Didn't Know About Becky Menken, and that'll be a Patreon only like special episode.
And then we will never be allowed to work with them again.
So we're going to be talking a little bit about, history and nostalgia. So I want to give a little bit of context and talk Carly history. Give us a little bit of your origin story and how you eventually came to cover Disney.
Well, my background and my path that led me here is a bit unusual. I think I'm definitely the only person who wound up professionally covering theme parks this way. I was working originally in music. I was in New York, and I was kind of like dancing in worlds between the music industry and publishing. I was freelance writing a lot. I was writing a lot of lifestyle pieces, and so it goes. It was time for my bachelorette party. I was getting married, and I was trying to figure out where to go. I don't party much. I stay up late, but mostly to just play on my phone. And so the typical places like, Mexico, Vegas, they just weren't my vibe. So my now husband, it's all his fault, suggested, why don't you just go to Disney World? And I had never been as an adult. I was not even a Disney fan at the time. I just randomly dragged about 11 other girlies to Orlando for me. And it's really funny because none of us were Disney people. We grew up seeing some movies. We weren't fans by any mean. And we got there and truly like a third of us were like, I never have to come back. A third of us had a great time, and a third of us were fully indoctrinated. Like, Lou, we left just being like, feed me every Disney podcast, feed me every... We could not get enough. And I came home, and I was freelance writing, and I just kind of pitched some stories and pitched some more. And a few years later, I just turned around and realized, I guess this is my job now? So then I just started saying I was a theme park reporter, and nobody stopped me. And now we're here.
Well, that's the beauty of it, right? There's no gatekeepers. Nobody has to sort of give you an opportunity. You don't have to sort of like work your way into, one of very few roles in an organization. You can sort of take your own lead and create your own momentum and make it happen for yourself. And that's, what you've done, not just in writing, but how long have you been podcasting?
I've now been podcasting for over 5 years, which is It happened. I happened to start around the time of the pandemic, but it was in the works for a while before then. It just kind of looks like it was a pandemic podcast. But 5 years, it doesn't make any sense to me. That's half of the time I've been covering Disney. Half of my career I've been podcasting. And I'm still like, as you saw when we started this, I'm still figuring out lights. I'm still getting advice from you about how you look so good on camera. It's like, it's still very new. And yet, like a decade into this job, like, I'm for real a podcaster now. And I love it. I love being able to speak directly to a Disney audience, but also people who are just kind of dipping in to be like, I'm going here and I don't understand. I try to really help both of those people navigate their vacations, whether it's to the domestic parks, whether it's to Tokyo Disney Sea, truly Disney Cruise Line, anything that they do. I just love helping people because I know I have been there. I have been a fish out of water in Orlando being like, what do you mean I can't have 12 different credit cards on my Disney Experience account for all of us who are staying in this hotel? Like I've been there, I've struggled, and now I try to, with the knowledge I've gleaned over the past decade, really help people through writing and through podcast.
Well, you should be very proud for 5 years of podcasting. That is a very, very long time in the podcasting world. Most podcasts start to fade out about episode
Lou,
7 or 8.
Lou, how many years are you at? How many years are you at, Lou?
It's 20, but it doesn't matter.
See, this is why I love you, because you are so kind and you are so humble when truly, like, you're the real one. Like, you're the OG.
You can say old man. You're the old man in the room, Angelo.
You're like, you're the one who has the impressive tenure, Lou. That's the way you frame it.
It's, it's, like you, we sort of accidentally stumble onto this thing that becomes our inadvertent career. And like you, I love the podcasting medium so much because it's so intimate. You're literally in the ears. You're part of people's routine. And I think that there is a trust and a one-on-one relationship that you form via podcasting that you cannot do in any other medium at all.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And I'm sure you put in as much care and effort as I do, because I am so specific. I'm like this one word, I have to cut this one word. Otherwise someone might hear this and then they might be like, that might ruin their day. Like, I care so much about the fact that people choose to spend their time listening to me yap about theme parks. And I'm like, I got to make this the best experience possible. The best. And
that's why you've been able to do it for so long. And look, this is clearly a podcast about the Mutual Admiration Society, but no, because it's, with great podcasting power, but there must also come great responsibility, because we feel a responsibility to the people who are giving us their most valuable commodity, which is their time.
Yes, I wholeheartly agree.
So, all right, listen, we will continue our love fest again in a separate bonus episode, but let's talk about Disneyland's 70th. And let's sort of start, 30,000 foot view. What was your first reaction when you heard about the 70th anniversary and the theme of Celebrate Happy?
Honestly, my first reaction was, is that a sentence? It didn't really make sense to me. But now, having gone, I'm like, yeah, celebrate happy. It makes so much sense when you're there. It really does. When you add the Jonas Brothers song in, it just really coalesces to be like, this is a vibe and I am here for it. I just love, my main takeaway from the 70th was that I'm just so grateful that it's just a really, I don't want to say you're celebrating happy. I'm trying not to say it. It's just like a really positive overlay on the parks. When you are in the parks, they feel a little bit different during the 70th, and they feel better because it's kind of at the level of a holiday celebration. But again, the celebration is happy. Like, we're just having a good time. And I love that this theme is, in a way, gratitude. Just being grateful for, we're here with friends. We're here with family, possibly. Like, we finally have more nighttime spectaculars back. Thank goodness. Like, it's just being grateful for what we have when we're at Disneyland. The park feels alive again, and it's just so nice.
Yeah. It's funny. When we first got there, I just sort of overheard so many conversations about Celebrate Happy. Like, well, should it be Celebrate Happiness? I'm like, guys, you are thinking way too deep about this. Like, just to all who come to this happy place. But I think once you step into the gates, like, it clicks, because this is not just about, and I think to its benefit, this is not just about celebrating nostalgia from 70 years ago. This is about celebrating the making of memories in the recent past as well. You talk about the nighttime entertainment, the return of recent classics and favorites. And there is this, look, I'm a choose the good kind of guy, right? So this resonates with me, but there was this wonderfully positive and emotional response that it wasn't just me that I heard other people having as well as soon as they stepped into Disneyland.
Yeah, it's a good time to be at Disneyland. And I think also part of it has to be tied to the fact that this celebration is going to go on for over a calendar year. And I think a lot of times, if you're a Disney person, you don't know when things are going to end. They can end at any time. It always feels like, especially after the pandemic, when Disneyland was taken from us for so long, you're like, I don't know. Is it going to end like beginning of September? And the fact that we can bank on many of these experiences for a year means, like, we know it's going to be a party for the next year. And I really love what that brings to the table in terms of this celebration.
Yeah. And when we first got there, look, and I don't like to talk about things that we get to do. We were invited by Disneyland to attend this, and everything that comes with it was incredible. But when we first, I want to quickly talk, because when we first walked into the Welcome Center space, which is normally just a place, get maybe a little backpack, get something, and then move on, you instantly knew that this was different. Disneyland, let me just say, for the 70th and this event, you really know how to throw a party. You really know how to create an event. And I knew as soon as we walked in, I'm like, this is not just quote unquote another anniversary celebration. They really are going all in on this in a very big, very special way.
I completely agree. I also never really talk about the stuff that we see where it's really nice, but nobody can experience it at the parks. It's kind of like, what's the point? But I could just tell that this is all about just having a party, just having fun. And it's really nice when this theme isn't something like big or heady. It's just come here and have a great time because we got a lot going on. And I just love how succinct that is. It's just, again, I don't want to keep saying it's a good vibe, but being someone who lives in Southern California, for us, Disneyland has been slowly ramping back up since the pandemic closures. And it really, for me as a local, didn't feel like Disneyland was back until we were at this event. Because now there's so much, you can choose from multiple nighttime spectaculars. There's so many new and returning things. And yes, I don't know if we're going to get there, so I'm going to preempt you. I'm just going to say it. It is a little, I have heard people discuss, and I completely understand what they're coming from, where, it is an anniversary, but a handful of these offerings are ones that have been here before. They're not brand new. And while I do agree with that, there's so much happening at Disneyland in a way, and because it's happening for so long, it feels like Disneyland is really back for the first time in many years. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that I understand why. So I, who live on the opposite coast, don't get out to Disneyland. A lot of this is new for me, and I think new for a lot of guests who are maybe visiting Disneyland during the 70th, either for the first time or maybe for the first time in a long time. I think there's a lot of guests who might be coming for the first time since the pandemic. So I think it serves multiple benefits in terms of there's that recent nostalgia, bringing back some of these beloved shows, and also bringing back things that people didn't get a chance, like me, to see. Let's get right into it, right? And I think this is why it's wonderful that you're here, being a local. The first thing that I thought of as I was like brain dumping all my notes, I was like, wow, there is a lot going on here. Yeah. Is the return of Paint the Night to Disneyland for the first time since 2018, when it was over at Disney California Adventure. And this is not just the return of the DCA version. We also get back some of the floats that were unable to be performed in DCA just because of height and space requirements and things like that. Give me your thoughts about the return of what I will tell you is one of my all-time favorite in any theme park, nighttime, daytime, spectacular parades.
Lou, it truly feels like our team won the World Series. That's the feeling among California Disney fans. It's all we're talking about. It's like everybody knows. We can't stop celebrating it. I've been hearing I'm going back to the park tomorrow, so I haven't been, also me being like, I haven't been in so long. It's been less than 2 weeks, Disney people. But I haven't seen the actual crowd reaction from when it's full day guests. It's not like the first night that they're doing it. And I hear that people are so jazzed that they're saving spots hours in advance. Everyone is hyped that this is back. It just feels so good that it's home again. It's like we got our girl back, and it's a brilliant parade, and it brings so much to the park. Especially what I love about Paint the Night is that I'm someone who doesn't want to put in a lot of effort into catching a parade, catching a fireworks show. You won't catch me waiting on Main Street for hours. It's not going to happen. But Paint the Night is something similar to Disneyland fireworks, which I'm sure we'll get into, that you can enjoy from different areas of the park because it's so vast and bright and colorful. You really don't have to be in the front row sitting there. So I love that it just adds so much kinetic energy, so much life back into the parks. And the way people are excited about it proves how much we missed it. Because there was a point we kept talking about Paint the Night, and we all looked a little crazy because we were just out here begging. And now that it's back, I'm like, yeah, it is that good.
Yeah. And I love it in Disneyland. And I think that it's not, first of all, I dig the music. I dig Mac. There's so much that I love about it, but there is this, look, I'm a crier. I'm an emotional guy. Let's get this out of the way. There was an emotional, feeling that I got seeing it again, and I'm not local to the park, so I can only imagine those who grew up with it, who loved it, who missed it, how they must feel seeing it again, and then obviously the integration of some of the new elements as well.
Yeah, Disneyland has felt, and I know I said this, but just to reiterate, Disneyland has not felt the same since 2020. And I think this coming back really is just bringing back so many memories of how the park used to be. Because remember, we are now working with the reservation system, which if you aren't a local doesn't seem like it impacts your experience that much, but it has completely upended the way that we visit the park. You used to just text people at 5 p.m. and be like, yeah, all right, let's hop in the car. I'll see you there. And you just can't do that anymore. We now visit Disneyland like we are vacationing, even though it is a drive away. Like you have to plan in advance. You have to like get everybody lined up, get your reservations, check the website. And so Disneyland has had a different feel for so many of us, even Magic Key holders, even people who just buy a ticket here and there. It has felt really different for a handful of years. And Paint the Night, just kind of trekking down Main Street. It's just, we're back. It feels so great.
And that's it. It's about the way this place and these parades and some of the other nighttime spectaculars, the way they make us feel. Let's get to Wondrous Journeys. Again, it is something that is returning from the Disney 100 celebration that started back in 2023. This was brand new to me. I have not seen this. I don't know how I missed it because it premiered alongside World of Color 1, right? And this is, again, this is a montage, a projection montage that you can see, like Paint the Night, in multiple locations throughout the parks. Talk about some of the different locations and how each one is sort of customized what you see and where you see it.
Yeah, so you can watch projections. They say there's projections on Main Street, but like it's not the same as the other locations. So there's a projection on the castle, and then there's also projections at Rivers of America, and then It's a Small World on the facade. And I love that Disneyland does this because you really can be in 3 different locations and get a great show no matter where you are. And I think you were at the event at this part, but I learned something that I didn't know, that the sound for the show is best if you are at Rivers of America. I didn't know that. And now I'm kind of like, I love being over there for fireworks, and having the projections there and seeing it there is excellent.
Yeah, you almost get a different show wherever you're going to be, which is, reason there's a repeatability factor to Wondrous Journeys.
Yes. And I'd love to know what you think about the show, because this was new to you.
So I loved it. I love, again, I am a nostalgic guy, so I love seeing scenes from recent and more distant classics, whether it's Peter Pan, Frozen, Princess and the Frog, whatever it is. I'm also a huge Baymax fan. So you can't see it. I literally just brought back a 5 foot tall Baymax plush. Wait, I have to go get it.
5 feet tall.
He's as big as me.
Oh my God, you were not exaggerating.
No. My son pretended to have to go. I'm going to cry. My son pretended to have to go to the bathroom and ran out and came back on our last day with this gigantic Baymax. Because
wait, Lou, were you so excited, but also how am I going to get this home?
Right, I was. I was like, oh my God, this is such a beautiful moment. I'm going to remember this forever. I'm like, how the heck am I going to? Yes. So, thank you for letting me buy additional luggage, pay additional. Worth it. Those are it's not about the thing. It was about the gesture. Oh my God, I'm getting all weepy. This was a very big trip for me and my family as they are getting older and going off to college and things like that. So anyway, but, so I love Baymax. So I love seeing Baymax fly over Disneyland at night.
Oh, it's amazing. And it's such a special moment, because when I first saw it, I couldn't stop screaming. And I love that that's back, because I personally love that fireworks show. And I have to explain that through the context of really disliking Mickey Mix Magic. And so as someone who shows up and hears that music and is like, I gotta get out of this park, I love that this is back. I just think it's so dynamic. It's so enjoyable. It's so easy to watch. And it feels so inclusive of all of their art. And just to see it through the years, like you said, is really something.
Well, and it's the same thing with Fantasmic, right? As well. It's one of those returning favorites that is obviously for, multiple reasons has been updated and modified over the years. But it's back now really as part of the full lineup in the park.
Yeah. There's so much going on at night at this park now. It's bananas. You have to make decisions because there's so much happening. It's so fun.
Well, and it's a reason not just to stay late, but to keep coming back, because there's not 1, not 2, not 3. There are at least 4 that I counted nighttime spectaculars going on. Let's hop over to Disney California Adventure and World of Color Happiness, which is really the only, right? Am I right? This is the only full new nighttime show specifically for the 70th.
Yes. I think Disney might try to argue that the projection on It's a Small World is also a new show, or the projections on Carthay Circle, but this is the true lone, brand new, entirely new nighttime show.
Yeah, those are like micro shows. They're like, which we'll talk about, right? Because there's little cavalcades, there's little projections, like there's a lot happening all over. But I will tell you, and maybe I was caught up in the moment, or the recency bias, or all the food I was eating throughout the day. I loved this. I may be alone in my feelings, and I'm okay. I will die on this hill. Because it focused on the emotions. It focused on the emotions with characters from Inside Out taking us through this emotional roller coaster, which, please, Disney, please make Journey into Imagination an emotional roller coaster, because it just fits. Anyway, but all of these classic characters, the pre-show is reason enough to make sure you get there early, because if there's one thing that this world needs, it's more Muppets, and we got them in spades.
Preach to the choir, Lou. I am right there with you, especially coming at a really hard time for all of us Muppet fans, as Muppet Vision 3D is literally leaving this week. It's crushing. So to know that they are still trying to bring Muppets into the parks, they're still valuing them as a franchise as they rip away our Muppets courtyard is something that I love. And you and I are truly, we might be alone on an island when it comes to this show, because afterwards, so at these media events, like usually, as you know, people kind of stand around and they're like, so what'd you think? Did you like it? What'd you think? And everyone's feeling out what everyone thought, like, cause we're all critics, we're all curious. And the vibe I got from people was different than I expected, because I also loved it. I loved it. I loved the way that, like you said, they weaved emotions through all of it. They tied together different Disney properties through the lens of emotions, which I just thought it was so, I don't even want to say digestible, but it was such an organized way to do storytelling paired with just the visual spectacular that is that show. I loved it. I liked it better than the one that everyone else really, really loved. I thought this was so special and so Disney. And also it felt really specific to Southern California. When I was watching the show, I was like, we got a Muppets intro. We got we got so many movies that we don't always see in big spectaculars. You can't see this at Disney World. Like this is Disneyland Resort. And I just love that they put this show together and did it this way. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And people say they didn't like it. Well, just listen to us. We loved it.
That's good. Don't go. Make more room for those of us that do.
Yeah.
I loved the arrangement of the music, especially during the Incredibles scene. I love that the visuals were all new. It wasn't just this little, sometimes these shows are like little vignettes, like little montages that you feel are just different people. It's like it's like when I used to talk about Harmonious. It was like, I felt as like a teacher said, all right, you work on this, you work on this, you work on this, and they all just put them together and strung it together. This just felt so natural, so organic. I love the music. I love the fact that it was not an emotional roller coaster with the Lion King lows that we had in past shows. It was fun. It was funny. It was uplifting. Again, having a rendition of Rainbow Connection by Boys to Men and the new original song by Fitz in there. I just dug every piece of it. It felt almost like a little 3-act play to me.
Yes, you see what I mean? It was so organized. It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't like a hodgepodge group project. It made so much sense. When they used the emotion of fear from Inside Out to loop into Disney villains, I was like, this is it. This is my show. This is my show. It's brilliant the way they tied this stuff together, because sometimes it's a little haphazard. They get there, but it's a little random. But this one just really, I don't know, it coalesced for me. And I am not a World of Color person. At nighttime, I'm usually like, get me out of here, I'm going to the other park. But I would go out of my way to see this. And for me, as a local and as someone who has never said that about World of Color before, I think that just proves how good of a job they did. I loved it.
Yeah, I was, it was a very and this is not a complaint, but when we do events like this, you're nonstop from crack of dawn, you're going. It's late at night. It's super crowded. Sometimes you're like, I just want to get back to my hotel, which just seems so far away, even though it's not. But I came out of this with this renewed energy, and I did something that I never normally do, which was I took out my phone. I'm like, I need to record. I'm not a big reaction video guy, but I'm like, I need to capture what I'm feeling right now and share it, even though it's, the middle of the night on the East Coast, because I felt so strongly about it. I felt so, we're going to use the word again. It made me so happy when it was over.
Again, Celebrate Happy makes no sense until you go to this celebration and then you're walking out being like singing the Jonas song. Like you're just completely on board with it. It just really made me feel grateful for like living so close to a Disney park, being able to experience these things, being there with my colleagues who are also my friends and just enjoying something together, which I feel like that was a message they really kept hitting through the show, was like how magical that we have all these movies and we have all these properties and this artwork. It just really made me grateful to be a theme park fan, which I do not often say about a nighttime show.
Well, I think I think the return of all four of these and the introduction of these nighttime spectaculars shows Disneyland's investment in the guest experience, but they don't stop there, because we have Tapestry of Happiness. You're going to hear the word happy a lot which is a projection show over on the facade of It's a Small World, which I think this is probably the most, and it's continued to, and I understand why they call it this love letter to 70 years of Disneyland. I think this is the one that really encompasses what this 70th anniversary celebration is really meant to be about in terms of nostalgia.
Totally. And one of my favorite things about the Celebrate Happy celebration, which is a terrible phrase to say out loud when our job is to say words out loud, but there's no other way I can break it down. One of the things that I love about this is that they didn't lean too hard into history, because we got the 75th coming up truly 4 years after the end of this, or 3 years after the end of this one. Lou, I didn't go into this business to do math. I think that's correct. It's a year-long celebration. I'm close. I don't know. Anyway, I love that they really gave us a piece, which is the tapestry, gave us a little piece of reflective, looking back, historic artwork, but then let everything else just be positive, fun, uplifting. I really like that they didn't go full Disneyland history for this one. And that's why I think that, we joke about the name, but that's why I think the whole feeling of it all is light and easy breezy.
Yeah, because there are some of us, I'm raising my hand, who, start off writing trivia books, and I do love the history, and I think it's really important not to forget that. And we'll talk about how and what is coming that was not ready yet, that is really going to solidify that. But it's about celebrating not just what the park was like in 1955, but celebrating happy in terms of recent nostalgia as well. And then we also had Celebrate Happy, a little bit of magic every night. If we're going to do I wish I had like a little bell every time we say the word happy.
What I would have given to be in these meetings, Lou.
There are nightly projections on the Carthay Circle restaurant and theater over at Disney California Adventure, also using the Celebrate Happy music performed by the Jonas Brothers. I like this, Carly, because it's not something that you have to line up 3 hours for and put your mat down like they do in some of the overseas parks and wait for it. There is this almost little surprise and delight moment for it.
I completely agree. And I think it's only 2-ish minutes long. So it's so quick and it's really beautiful. And I also love that there's a nod to Disneyland in it. I feel like California Adventure, they're always kind of dancing around the fact that like the castle's not in that park. And I love that they reference it in this show to bring both of the parks together through a little nighttime magic.
But there's not just things going on at night. The day
There's so much.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to forget something, but we're going to try our best not to. There are parades and cavalcades over at DCA and as well as Disneyland. So in Disney California Adventure, there's Better Together, a Pixar Pals celebration parade. Not a new parade, but like many of the other things, it is a welcome daytime parade return with, and I love this parade because I love things like Luca and Up.
Sorry, I spaced out. I was like, tell me what you think. And you literally just said it. Listen, we've both been traveling a lot. It's kooky. I think that Disney California Adventure is a park built for a parade. And so I love that there is, like when they don't have a daytime parade, I'm walking around being like, do we really got to have all these food booths here? Like, I just want to see a daytime parade. And I'm so glad this is back. It's not my favorite. I wouldn't go out of my way to see it, but it being there is something I am a fan of because, listen, Lou, I don't want to go on a Hyperion Theater tangent, but I feel it coming over me. This is the 70th. They maybe should have put something in the Hyperion. It's sitting empty. They used to have a really brilliant stage show there. Ticket prices only keep going up, and they haven't added anything back in there. But the fact that we at least have something during the day happening, even though it's not the Hyperion, I have to praise it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you later on, but as long as we're here, we could talk about it. I was going to say, is there anything that you wish would have been here or anything that might have been missing? And I have to think like, well, they must have something. They must be working on something really, really big for it, and they just can't put a like, I never got to see Rogers the Musical. Like, put something in there so I have something to see, because I haven't been in that theater in, has it been maybe 10 years? Possibly.
Forever, it seems like. And it's just sitting there, and that, like, having a show there really, I think, brings together the attraction lineup at that park. Without it, it always feels a little like something's missing. Mm-hmm. And especially, again, don't want to go on a tangent about this theater, Lou, but, it's hot in California, and that is a deeply air-conditioned building, and it would have been so delicious to have a nice stage show to go see during the day in summer, and we don't have it, and I wish that they did something there. But I am grateful for what we have. Again, that's like my whole outlook with the 70th is like, I am grateful that we are getting a taste of what Disneyland was in 2019. So like, you want to toss a Pixar parade that I'm not going to go on my way to see? Love it. I'll take it. Like, I'll take any entertainment we can get. It's locked in for a year, Lou. Like, we have stuff coming, and I'm happy enough about that to not be too bothered about the Hyperion. But again, happy the Pixar Parade is back.
I just love the fact that you said it would be delicious to have a show in there.
Oh, can you imagine midday after like your second melted cold brew, and you're like, finally we get to go relax? But
yes, I could.
But no,
I can imagine grabbing a shawarma and heading over and seeing it. Over in Disneyland, there is a new daily cavalcade mini parade, which I think the star of this is not just Mickey and Minnie and everybody in their new 70th anniversary costumes. It is, and tell me, is this the first time Duffy and Shelley May have made an appearance in Disneyland?
It is, it's not the first time Duffy has, but it's the first time I believe Shelley May has at Disneyland. It's definitely the first time Shelley May has been in any sort of cavalcade. I don't believe Shelley May has really had a presence at Disneyland Resort. There might be, like, Shelley May might have appeared for a Run Disney race, which I don't know if is canon. I'm going too deep in Duffy lore. But it is, listen, you're either a Duffy fan or you're like, what is this bear? And for me, like, the fact that Duffy and Shelley May are at Disneyland practically every day, like, you can't guarantee every single day forever, but like, they're in the parks. They're in the parks. We did it.
And people lost their mind. Carly, I watched people, their brains fell out of their heads when Duffy and Shelley May came down Main Street, USA.
I couldn't stop screaming. Because this
that was you. Okay.
Yeah. It was me. You're like, that crazy lady I invited into my podcast home. Whoops. For me, like, to see the legacy of Duffy and Friends grow from being here and people being like, nah, and then them going overseas and becoming legends. Like, they own some of those parks overseas. Shanghai Disney is basically Shanghai Duffy at this point. And so now to have a little taste of it back means that they know that we love these characters. And if we support them, hopefully we will get a meet and greet. Hopefully we'll get merchandise. There's not even Duffy merchandise for the 70th. Yeah. I'm just hoping for more and more and more because I love them. And it's so delightful to be able to see my friends whenever I want.
Yeah. I just came back from Tokyo.
Land of the Duffies.
Duffy and his friends, I mean, they literally have taken over an entire section of Tokyo Disney Sea. And if you don't believe me, like, there's dedicated Duffy stores and people are walking, and it's a different vibe out there, but you'll understand it if you've ever gone. People will go and they will dress up their Duffys and Shelley Mays and the 17 different friends, and they will just sit them out, like, on the curb in front of, and that's what they'll do all day. They'll just sort of hang out with Duffy and friends and they'll wait for a parade or do whatever. So it didn't take the first time Duffy tried to come here to World, but who knows? Maybe this is the return of Duffy and friends to the States.
I think with so many of us, really, social media has kind of made information obviously so much easier to have access to, and being able to see what these parks are like are just causing more and more people to want to travel internationally to Disney parks, people who love domestic parks. And I think that has really fueled a lot of the Duffy fandom at home. I mean, D23 just held a Duffy event in California for members. Like that, like it's happening, Lou. It's happening. The future is upon us, and it's filled with Duffy. And so them including them in the 70th, I think, is pretty historic, because who knows? Maybe they'll get a ride for the 75th. Anything is possible.
Hey, listen, I want to try and normalize in the States what they do overseas, walking around with I could walk around my giant Baymax. I also have a 3-foot tall Duffy downstairs in my guest room. It was my kids. It doesn't matter. It's fine. So
we should be, yeah. You should walk around with your stuffed animal. You should live your truth, Lou. I've done it. I've walked around with one.
I don't need to give any more fodder to the internet about to say things. The other thing, speaking of kids and being kids at heart, over in the Disney Junior Theater, the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse live show was this unexpected surprise. And for me, I'm not going to lie. Are you going to be like, does all Lou do is sit around and cry? So I loved this show, which was different from any of the other sort of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse shows that I've seen in Land or in World. I was with my son, who is 19, who grew up watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Spoiler alert, when near the end of the show, when they started doing Hot Dog, I not only did I want to get up and dance, but there was way too many people with cameras, but there was that little silent tear that sort of just fell down the side of my face, because that was what my kids grew up with. And I'm like, this is it. This is the nostalgia for the adults in the audience as well as for the young kids.
Yes. And it's so interesting because I had the opposite situation. I was like, heck yeah, I get to stay at Disneyland Resort for 2 nights and don't have to think about being a parent. Like, it feels like a little getaway, even though it's work. And yet I walked away with the same emotional takeaway as you, because I went to this being like, okay, a parade, some shows, like, we'll see how it is. I didn't really have any feelings about the 70th before I went. And I left being so excited to come back with my kid and so excited to come back with friends. And it really just made me feel so grateful for this place existing and the fact that it still exists and is still like churning out hits. I mean, that show is so fun. It's so much more fun than it had to be. I had a great time in it. Like, I'm going to bring my daughter and pretend it's for her, but it's really because I want to see Goofy dance like that again.
I saw way more quote unquote adults dancing than I probably should have, if you want to call what they were doing dancing. But it did. There was this wonderful energy to the show, and I really, really liked it. I think kids and adults will like it as well. There is something else I want to touch on that we didn't really get to experience, and I think is not one, not two, but more than 70 different reasons to go back, which is food and beverage. Disneyland introduced more than 70 different food and beverage items to commemorate the 70th. Again, there is this wonderful blending of nostalgic flavors and nods to Walt and some of the early days of Disneyland, but with modern twists and flavors as well.
Unfortunately, about like 20 hours after we record this, I'm literally going to Disneyland to try all the things I haven't tried yet. So I'm so close. I sadly can't opine about many of them, but I do know that they have introduced a number of festive cold brews that I am personally so beyond excited for. And I love when they do this because, like, Disneyland knows their audience. They know their audience, and they know we will show up to try fun new food. I don't know what it's like if you don't live here and you show up and you're like, what do you mean the menus are all different? Like, it must be so overwhelming. But the food at Disneyland Resort is so good that it's always this fun little extra thing to like run around and make it your own food festival. So that's quite literally what I'm doing tomorrow when I try some of these very special limited time dishes. I'm
going back in July. I'm hosting a couple of Adventures by Disney to Disneyland in Southern California. And I'm so excited for the Disneyland portion just to try some of these foods, because Walt Disney World is my home park. I love this place dearly. It's where my heart lives. However, I think an argument could be made. Maybe this is a discussion for a future episode. I think Disneyland does food very, very, very well. And based on what we saw with our little preview and some of the hero images that we saw and some of the menu items that we saw, this alone, forget the attractions, forget the parades and nighttime spectaculars. The food alone is reason to come back for the 70th.
Yeah, locals are loud, and I include myself as a professional loud person in that group. If you introduce food at Disneyland and it's bad, the word of mouth in it is going to be so fast, it's gone. Like, we show up and we spend our money on food, and we have a lot of things to say, and they do an incredible job. Like, the food there, it's as good. Sometimes it's like theme park food is separate from real world food. No, like, sometimes the food here is better than real world food. They really have so many different things to try, and just 70, is that so many? That's so many. And I do want to flag, because you are going in summer. Someone asked me a question on my podcast, and I was able to get an answer that a lot of these entertainment offerings are going to last the duration of the entire celebration. Some will be paused here and there for different holiday parades, for Lunar New Year, things like that. But specifically to food, there is a chance they will be changed in the future. I think they are kind of only guaranteed for a limited amount of time. They could likely be there longer, but food tends to change through more often than entertainment. So if you are planning a trip, make sure to kind of track the things that you really want to eat. And if you are planning to go to Disneyland more than once during this, try to get the food that you've had in your eye on your earlier trip, just in case things change, especially seasonally for things like Halloween and Christmas time, which lasts multiple months.
I say this to people about merchandise, and I mean the same about, if you see it, get it. Because there's a good chance you won't see it again, and you will be like, oh, I can't go all the way back to San Francisco, which I love. I love the fact that there is amazing, like, Asian-inspired food right next to Mexican-inspired food. I could just live in San Francisco and hug Baymax all day long.
I was out here being happy that someone was handing me a small piece of bread for free. And then we got all of this? It's a miracle.
So we talked about entertainment, we talked about parades, we talked about food. For a lot of people, it's like Spaceballs, the merchandise. It's Disneyland, the merchandise. And to celebrate the 70th, they have released multiple different merchandise collections, which I love. There is a celebration collection with clothing, and toys and bags and Loungeflies and Dooney and Burks and Pandora, really reflecting that very vibrant color palette of the Disneyland 70th anniversary. There's also the Castle collection, inspired by Sleeping Beauty Castle, with a lot of apparel and accessories and jewelry. The Vault collection is what speaks my language. It celebrates those early eras of Disneyland, again, leaning into the nostalgia with some designs that were available on opening day of Disneyland, or things like that you could have seen in Walt's desk, vintage park maps. And there's also the Countdown collection, where a lot of those pink color and purple themes. So there's a little bit of something for everyone, depending on where your merch love sits.
Yeah, they did a real good job. They be taking my money. I don't buy a lot of merch, and I don't mean to make the merch discussion about just me, but just to give you an example, I am someone who professionally resists merchandise. I don't buy anything. I don't bring it into my home unless I'm like willing to keep it for 10, 20 years. It has to really be something I love. I was walking out of the resort, walking back to the hotel. I was walking with friends, and I was like, I gotta go. And I immediately just turned left into World of Disney, because I ended up buying a shirt for me, a shirt for my kid. I never do that. But the way that they broke out the merch for this is that no one is free. Like, they will get you. There is something that is there where you'll be like, I didn't know that existed.
They'll find your weakness. They will find your weakness.
They will find it. They will find it. I mean, I got a t-shirt of Mickey with like Mr. Toad googly eyes. I am but a human woman, Lou. I can't resist that. It's just like, and then I got like the Disneyland 70 kind of retro historic shirt for my kid. Like, there's something for everyone. And I usually skip that whole part, but nobody is immune to this, everyone. Like, they nailed it.
Yeah. Two things that really stood out to me was, one, the make your own headbands. Again, we were able to sort of get one where you get a headband and you can attach almost these little like character pom-poms to it. 2, 3, or 4 different pom-poms to it.
They're like balls. They're kind of just like little stuff, like stuffed lumps. They're kind of like, they've had so many different names of stuffed lumps, because there was like the Munchkins, and there was New Emos.
Munchlings, right? Yeah, Munchlings.
Munchlings, New Emos was like stuffed lump with legs and arms. Like, there's all these little things, but then now they have like the headband stuffed lumps. And
stuffed lumps is not the official name. Don't go walking into a store. Do you have the stuffed lumps? I'm looking for the Winnie the Pooh stuffed lump.
Anybody who's seen it is like, yeah, I guess that's what it is. It's like it's like just a little head. It's like a little plush head. And what I've seen a bunch of cool people do is take them and put them on their bag strap. So not even get the headband, but to kind of put it on your strap so like your bag is wearing it. But they got me. I have not worn a headband I haven't worn Mickey ears in probably 8 years. Maybe for like a second here. I wore these in the park. So much so that I posted a photo and my friends texted me to call me out. That's how good these ears are. They're like, since when are you an ears girly? When did this happen? They're so... The thing I love about them is that it's not just Mickey, Minnie, Goofy. They are wearing an homage to their in-park outfit in the little, I'm so sorry, Lou, in the little stuffed lump. They are wearing a little, Goofy's got a little hat, like Minnie's got the little bow that matches her costume. And the fact that they went the extra mile to make them 70th specific, it's just that type of touch really resonates with me. And I will be wearing these constantly in the park because of it.
Well, I love being able to personalize and customize it to who you are and maybe want to change them out, one day over the next. But for me, and again, I'm not a merch guy. I'm not a sweets guy, but I can very much. There were two things that really stood out to me. One of which is completely free. But the first is the key to Disneyland, which it was the very first thing that I saw when we walked in. And again, not being a merch guy, I fell in love with it because I love the fact that it is an interactive experience that they've gamified the experience, right? So you have this key that you buy that lights up, and there are different interactive stations through all of each of the 9 lands. And as you go in and put this key into these different locks, there's an activation, whether it's bubbles, whether it's lights, music, whatever it is, in each of the lands. And when you do, it lights up one of the lights on your key. When you get all of them lit, the little door, it's like a little, I'll lean into you. It's a little Mission Impossible thing because the little door pops open in the back and you get this random keepsake pin. So there's like a scavenger hunt. It's a gamified thing. It's a little bit of a pin hunt, and now there's a trading aspect to it. I really, really, really like this aspect to it. I know not everybody does, but as not a merch guy, I'm looking forward to going and making like an afternoon in the park, just seeking out each of these little activations.
I don't love the key.
But that's okay because the beauty is, we said it before, there's something for everybody.
And it's really interesting because nobody has explained why they like the key better than you have. And so now hearing you talk about it, I'm like, oh, that's why everyone likes it. Because I couldn't really understand what all the fervor was for this gigantic plastic key that will not serve its purpose past spitting out a pin. I was not a big fan of it. And I went very deep on my podcast. I will not bring that energy here. But hearing you talk about it really makes more sense to me. Because I was like, why are people lining up to stick? I mean, the bubbles are fun. I did one of the holes with the key. It's fun. The bubbles come out. It's really fun. But I couldn't understand why they were flying off the shelves, to the point that this has not been confirmed, but I did see it online today. I saw multiple people post it. Again, as a journalist, I have to say it was not confirmed, that apparently they may have sold out of them. Wow. And I'm sure they will. Listen, it's a year-long celebration. They're going to be getting more keys. I can guarantee that. But they sold that well that quickly. People wanted them that badly that I know I am in a minority when it comes to not liking the key. But the way you explain it is like, yeah, it's really a way to interact with the different lands. And I guess in a way it does honor Disneyland's history.
Yeah, like I said, it's not for everybody, but I think it's something that family, like I was thinking of it like, oh, especially if I had younger kids, this would be something cool for us to do together, giving your son or daughter the key and letting them run over and activate it and getting that reward of not just the physical pin, but the reward of we've done it all. And for guests that go and maybe the lines are long or attractions are down and you can't do everything, it adds another layer to the experience, which leads me into the other thing, which was my favorite surprise. I didn't even know it was there, part of the 70th, and not just because it's free, but I loved the Magic Band Plus interactive location and free keepsakes that you get throughout the park. Throughout Disneyland Park, there are 5 Magic Band Plus activation points on Main Street USA, in Tilly's booth, at the cinema, in Frontierland, at Silver Spur Supplies, Adventureland, over at the Skipper Lockers at the Jungle Cruise, the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique in Fantasyland, and in Tomorrowland, the Autopia, which wasn't active when we were there. But when you go over and you tap your Magic Band, and places like Frontierland have 3 different touch points, there is this activation that happens, whether it is sounds, lights, music, whatever it is. But more importantly, you get this little ticket that pops out for each of the different locations. And we found after doing it and seeing some of our other friends come over and do it too, there are different tickets that pop out depending on the type of admission ticket that you have.
Yeah, it's wild. Again, we're expending money to get into these parks, and yet I know a free piece of paper shouldn't excite us this much, and yet it was really just so delightful. And for someone who lives in California, just to give like the California perspective, like Magic Band Plus has been something you could use at this resort for a while, but it never really served a true purpose, or like never really encouraged me to actually put mine on to enter the park. Like I have it in my car, I just never wear it. And now it's like, oh, I gotta be using my Magic Band Plus. And I really, really love specifically about this activation that it's something that you can buy new merchandise to celebrate the 70th and use it for this, but you can also celebrate the 70th with something you already own. Mm-hmm. And I really like that there's no purchase required for this. Like you could possibly already own it from Disney Cruise Line or Disney World because it works at all the properties. And so to use something you already own and get a special taste of 70th magic to me was very special. And I think that's a really fun touch that you don't always see in some of these park anniversaries.
Yeah, and it does. And like you said, the Magic Band Plus already enhances the experience of some of the nighttime spectaculars like Paint the Night and Tapestry and World of Color, etc. And I think, to your point, I wonder and I hope that this rollout is starting to deliver on the promise of enhanced interactivity that I think guests have been hoping for, especially at Disneyland.
Yeah, this would be so cool too at Disney World. I really, really hope that they see how successful this has been and bring it there. Because imagine if they had this for the 50th, the things they could have done with it. And I know they had the 50th statues. I'm blanking on the exact name of that activation, but this would be something that would be really cool at Disney parks. Like maybe walking around an area of Animal Kingdom that's kind of off the beaten path and there's something you can do there. Like it really could move it, like, I don't know, like a corporate level. It could move people throughout the parks in a different way. Yeah. And it's just so fun. It's just a fun little bonus.
Right. It is that again, and the fact that it's free and you get a tangible like, souvenir. That it was my favorite souvenir that I brought home from the entire thing because I loved being able to go and get it and see that each person's ticket was different. Yeah. There's a couple of things that are happening too. There were some enhancements to Small World with new characters. Toy Story over at Disney California Adventure has enhancements in terms of new 70th anniversary targets. There is a new Donald's Tales of Adventure dinner buffet over at Storyteller Cafe. And obviously, and I think, I'm guessing that maybe the hope was that it would have been ready, but obviously on July 17th over at the Main Street Opera House, we are going to get Walt Disney A Magical Life with that very first audio animatronic of Walt Disney, which I'm very excited that I get to go back to Disneyland in July to be able to see it because this is, we've talked about this on the show in the past. I'm sure you have as well. You only get one chance to get a Walt Disney audio animatronic right. And from what we're hearing from Imagineering, they know that. And a lot of care was taken into every single minuscule, minute detail that most guests probably won't even see, whether it's the cut of his fingernails to, the shape of his tie, whatever it might be. But I'm very, very curious to see that on Main Street.
Same. And I'm actually kind of happy that it was saved for July. It was really nice to be able to be like the parades, the entertainment. And I think that some of that fun might have been lost in like the historic nature of there being there's a Walt Disney animatronic coming to the park. That is huge. And so I love that there is this second moment that we get to have to be like, this is Disneyland, this is the history, and we can actually focus on that through this new show and this Walt animatronic.
Yeah. And again, it's a reason to go, and especially if you're local, there's reasons to go back, as well. And look, I don't know if you felt, I was a bit wonderfully overwhelmed trying to pack it all in and try and see and do, and we didn't. I know for me, I was only there for 2 days. I definitely felt I didn't get to see and do everything, which I think is a good thing.
I think so too. And again, that goes back to what I was saying, where as someone who visits these parks almost weekly at this point, kind of like every 14 days, it feels different right now. It feels alive. It feels robust. And there is so much to see that it makes you want to go back. I'm literally going back Tuesday and Friday. Like I can't get enough. And this celebration is a huge part of it.
Yeah. I'll be curious to hear your thoughts after you go back, because now that you've had time to sort of think on it and reflect on it, what is sort of your overall impressions of it? Where do you think the 70th hits and has done really well? Do you think that there was anything that you wish that they would have done? Hyperion Theater, I know you're looking at you.
I will not do like a 30-minute sermon about the Hyperion. I could, but I won't. I will spare you. I think what they did, which I didn't expect, was that it would just be such like a positive, happy, I know, celebrate happy, I know, but just a really positive party. It feels like the park is alive. It feels good. And I haven't really felt that way in a minute. And it just feels like there's always something around the next corner that you can celebrate, whether it's, even if you're not using the key, seeing the bubbles coming out, seeing people scan their Magic Band Plus. Once the sun goes down, having an endless buffet of nighttime entertainment to choose from. It just feels alive and good to be at the parks again. In terms of things that I wish they could have done differently, I would have loved new entertainment. As someone who, listen, I'm thrilled about the Duffy and Shelley May Cavalcade. Like, I know that's not what it's called, but to me, it's the Duffy and Shelley May Cavalcade. I would have loved maybe a parade, maybe an upgraded version of Magic Happens, like maybe a little something more, and toss those characters in there too, because I will never want them to leave Disneyland. But I think, again, like the way we spoke about World of Color, the way we spoke about the way we felt it at the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse show, like this has really given me a feeling of gratitude for these spaces and the fact that after 70 years, things don't always last this long and succeed for this long. And so after 70 years to still have Disneyland feel like Disneyland, it still feels like Walt's original park. And there's so much to do still 70 years later. I think that it really just makes me grateful for what we have and makes me want to celebrate happy.
You know, it's funny. From while I was there and since I've come back, I keep getting, and I'm sure you do as well, similar questions like, you know, when should I go? Is now is the time? Now is the best time to go? What do you think? Like, is now a good time for first time visitors and or diehard fans to go? Because I know that there's also, you know, timing is everything in terms of opportunities and discounts and things like that as well.
Yes. So, on one hand, I do think it's better to go sooner than later. And there's two reasons why. One is that once things start to creep towards Halloween and towards the holiday celebrations, things will be adjusted. The nighttime entertainment will be adjusted. Some things will change because of the holidays and some will not. I don't know the full list off the top of my head. I know that Scott Gustin has tweeted it. I know it's in my podcast, but Scott, it's online if you want to seek it out. But also, there is an unbelievable ticket deal happening at Disneyland right now that I cannot stop talking about. And I know that we both love Mouse Fan Travel. We both love MEI Travel, but truly I can't stop talking about this.
If only there was anybody who could help people get to Disneyland.
If only they would do it for free. Listen, the ticket deal is so good that I was like, I need to drag my parents here for 4 days possibly just to save money. You can get a ticket to Disneyland for as low as $100 per day. And then the 4-day ticket is unbelievable because it's kind of like a mini Magic Key. Mm-hmm. If you were thinking about going more than once in a certain time period, you can split those days up. There are discounts at the hotels. Like the fact that you can, and I was pricing it out for July 4th weekend, you can truly buy a 1-day ticket for the weekend of July 4th on that Saturday, and it'll cost about half the price of the 4 days you could get with that discount ticket. So I don't know how long, we don't know if promotions will come back. Promotions could be different in the future. Who knows? But the fact that they're offering it right now makes me feel like you got to grab it while you can.
Yeah. And, you know, we're saying it half jokingly, but if you do go out to Mouse Fan Travel, their services are free. They will help you navigate what can sometimes be a complex, you know, navigation of, you know, what tickets to buy, where to stay, when to go, so that you can maximize your opportunity and experience there.
They're unbelievable. I was emailing with my Mouse Fan travel agent over this past weekend because I was looking at Pixar Pier hotel dates and there's like a discount on some of them. And I was trying to figure out their best date. And they have so much better access to all this information than we get on the front end. And they will help you figure it out for free to figure out your dates and the pricing and everything. So again, highly recommend. They can answer any question. And like, I'm an expert and I still ask them questions and I don't know. Like, they're that good.
And they just take it. What's nice is, you know, they take care of it for you. And if you need help, like they're there with you along the way. If you know, you can't get something, if something happens, it's nice to know you have somebody in your corner as well. So,
yes.
Any final thoughts, any final reflections, words of wisdom or advice as you think back onto the 70th, any sort of final takeaway?
It's funny because usually I would emerge out of something like this being like, there wasn't enough new stuff. They didn't do this. It's all merchandise and it's all food and it's all stuff you have to spend more money on. Like, there is truly a school of thought that I could have gone through, but instead it's really just so fun to be at Disneyland right now. And the fact that they've locked all this in for a year, like, I will be renewing my Magic Key at the highest level to be able to continue to enjoy this. It feels like all your friends are having a party and they're like, come hang out. Like, everyone's wearing cute clothes. Like, all the characters look great in their costumes. They're fun. Like, it all really comes together in a way, from the tiny things like the Magic Band Plus all the way to so many things happening at night. Like, it all really came together to make this party atmosphere, and you feel it when you're in the park, even if there's no parade or anything currently happening. And so, like, I usually don't go to Disneyland twice in a week, but it's making me want to go back more. And that's just proof of how nice it feels to be at Disneyland, how much is going on, and how much there is to do as part of the celebration, even if the offerings are a little different from what some people might have expected.
You know, I felt it was less about history and more about community. I felt that there was just this, listen, I see why they chose Celebrate Happy. There was this like joy that I felt, not even just from those of us who were sort of in our group, but as I was watching other guests and how they were responding to things. And I love watching other guests sort of have those moments, whether they're alone with friends, family, spouses, kids, grandparents, whatever it is. Like, that's it. Like, I don't know what Walt wanted, but I have a feeling that I'm watching other people have is exactly what he would have hoped for.
Yes. And as people who kind of professionally think a lot about these places, it's just fun. It's just fun. That's all the 70th is. It's fun. It's a great time to be there. Highly recommend it.
Rapid fire, favorite snack, show, souvenir, surprise, food, anything of the 70th?
Oh my God. I stopped functioning once you said snack. I just immediately was like popcorn. And I haven't thought of anything else. Duffy and Shelley May. Duffy and Shelley May, Duffy and Friends, Muppets are like my two franchises. I'm obsessed. But it has made me just want more of them in the parks. Now that I know we can get a little, I'm just hungry for more. But seeing Duffy and Shelley May in the park, in Disneyland, come down Main Street, it's a bright future ahead. It's got to be them.
So if somebody had only one opportunity to see like one thing from the 70th, would that be it for you?
No. I never recommend people sitting in the roasting sun. I would say, be at Disneyland at nighttime. I don't care where you are. You don't have to be in front of the castle. You don't have to be like the perfect view of Paint the Night, but just be there for when there's a firework, when there's Paint the Night, like those coming together, hearing the Paint the Night music, that energy is something you need to witness. You don't have to wait 2 hours for it. You can kind of be anywhere. It's a long parade. You can kind of catch a glimpse from far away. Just be a part of it. Just like make sure that you are in the vicinity when it's happening, because you will feel how special of a time it is to have this back. And we didn't even like, the thing about the 70th is it's happening all around you, everywhere. In the resorts, in the promenade, there's this beautiful display and statue in the promenade. That there's decor everywhere, including in the resorts and restaurants and food. So you will be able to sort of be immersed in it. And I think you're right. I think it is a huge, huge party, and it's reason to go and reason to come back. There is, if you've been thinking about going to Disneyland, now really is the best time to go. And like you said, this anniversary celebration lasts through summer 2026. So you have time, but go and talk to your Mouse Fan travel advisor and book your trip. You will not be disappointed. Carly, thank you so much. We finally, after all these years of seeing and knowing each other, we have finally been able to come together. Thank you so very much. Can you tell people where they can find you on social and your podcast? Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me. Just the fact that I get to hang out with you for an hour on a random weekday is like, it's a dream. You can find me online at Carly Wiesel across the internet. No one has my name. Just Google. Even if you spell it wrong, it'll pop up. And then my podcast is called Very Amusing. We talk about theme parks. We talk about travel, but it's mostly Disney, Universal. We did a lot of Epic Universe coverage. There's a lot of fun, silly episodes coming up. It's a lot of shenanigans and a lot of stories and secrets of being a theme park journalist. So check it out. I will link to all of that in the show notes. And thank you so very much again. When can we do this again, as the song that is now resonating in my mind is playing over and over again? Hopefully we can spend some time in the parks again soon. Agreed. It was so great to see you. You too. We have to eat together. We haven't even had a meal together yet. I know. I mean, we were near each other at Trader Sam's very, very late one night. It kind of counts. There's a faraway table. Kind of counts.
It's time for our Disney Trivia Question of the Week, where I invite you to test your knowledge of Disney Parks history, details, or maybe even identifying a classic sound from a park, attraction, or show. If you think you know the answer, you can enter for a chance to win a Disney prize package. And this week's trivia contest is once again brought to you by you. Because by joining the WDW Radio Nation, you're not only helping to support the show, live shows, and events, you're also becoming part of the magic that makes it all possible. And for as little as $1 per month, you'll unlock exclusive perks and rewards like monthly scavenger hunts, group video calls, private community, surprise care packages from the parks, and more. More importantly, your support helps power our Dream Team project, which has raised more than $550,000 to help grant Make-A-Wish trips to children with life-threatening illnesses, bringing real Disney magic to families who need it most. So come be part of something bigger, be part of the magic, and join us today over at www.radio.com/support. I want to thank some new and longtime members like Kelly Fox, Chris Goodwin, Aisha Monroe, and Paul Stein. I am truly grateful for your love, support, friendship, and help, and love being able to give back to you each and every month as well. Now, before we get to this week's trivia contest, let's go back, review last week's, or 2 weeks ago, and select our winner. So for our last trivia contest, Mother's Day was right around the corner. I apologize. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but I was away covering the Disneyland 70th anniversary event and then went right from LA to Japan for our group WDW Adventures by Disney Journey to Japan. I'll cover that in an upcoming show very, very soon. But the question was not just to remind you that every day should be Mother's Day, but really about the moms in the theme parks. And so your question was to tell me, what is the name of the mom in Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress in Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World? Thanks to all of you who entered, got this one correct, and know that her name is Sarah. And Sarah appears in every era of the show, from hand-washing laundry to testing out virtual reality, showing how moms continue to adapt and evolve and be the cornerstone of the house throughout the decades. And Sarah is currently voiced by BJ Ward, and if her voice sounds familiar, it's because she's voiced other attractions in Epcot, Disneyland Paris, as well as Disneyland. Anyway, I took all the correct entries, randomly selected one. Last week you were playing for the WDW Radio keychain, stickers, pin, and a mystery prize. And last week's winner, randomly selected, is Carolyn Somers. So Carolyn, congratulations. I'll get your prize package out to you right away. If you played last week and didn't win, that's okay, because here's your next chance to enter in this week's Walt Disney World or Disneyland Trivia Challenge. So since we are talking about Disneyland and celebrating 70 years at the happiest place on earth, this week I want you to tell me what were, there was more than one, the very first Disneyland e-ticket attractions. What were the very first Disneyland e-ticket attractions back when the parks used the old A through E-ticket books? When e-ticket attractions were introduced, there were more than one. What were the very first Disneyland e-ticket attractions? You have until Sunday, June 8th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern to go to WDWRadio.com, click on this week's podcast, use the form there. And this week, in addition to the keychain, the stickers, and pin, I'm also going to give you a mystery prize from Tokyo Disneyland or Disney Sea. I brought it back just for you, just for this trivia contest. So good luck and have fun. That's going to do it for this week's show. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and come with us on this virtual tour through Disneyland's 70th anniversary event. I want to know from you, what part of this anniversary celebration are you most excited about? Are you planning a trip to Disneyland in the next year for the 70th anniversary? Let me know by being part of the community and conversation over in the WDW Radio Clubhouse on Facebook at www.radio.com/clubhouse, or better yet, call the voicemail at 407-900-9391. That's 407-900-WDW1, and I will play it on the air. And whether you are dreaming of your next Disney trip or building your own dream as a creator, solopreneur, or entrepreneur, I am here to help. Please join me for my Momentum Weekend Workshop, October 16th through the 20th, 2025. It is a hands-on, one-room, 50-person, 4-day event with real-world strategies and workshops to start, grow, and monetize your business, brand, or dream. Super early bird pricing ends soon, and we're already more than 60% sold out. And if you're looking to bring a little bit of Disney magic to your business, brand, or event, I also deliver keynote presentations and workshops on customer experience, leadership, innovation, and storytelling, all inspired by the lessons of Walt Disney and the Disney parks. To learn more about momentum, speaking opportunities, as well as free resources to help you turn your passion into your profession, please visit LouMangello.com. Don't forget to join me this Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Facebook or YouTube for WDW Radio Live. Visit the events page over at WDWRadio.com for upcoming group events, meets of the month in Walt Disney World, cruises, and much more. And remember that the best way to keep updated is with my free weekly email newsletter. There's no algorithms, no social, nothing to check. It's just a little bit of Disney magic delivered right to your inbox every Wednesday. You can sign up at www.radio.com/newsletter. And as always, my friend, and you are my friend, whether we have met yet or not, all I ask is that if you enjoyed this week's show, please help spread the word by sharing the show on social, leaving a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or just tell a friend. And as always, remember to be kind, choose the good, have a great day, and even better tomorrow. So until next time, I love and appreciate you. See ya.
Hi, Lou. This is Carly from Wisconsin. I was just listening to your Abu Dhabi episode a little late. But I have a brilliant idea. What if we get pen pals, if you will, from Abu Dhabi who will host us, i.e. make sure we don't do anything super American and embarrassing while we're there. And in return, they then come and visit our parks and we host them. And maybe we can even work it into like every other park. And then we can just have little groups that, like pen pals, only, Disney hopping. I'm in. If you're in, if you meet anyone who wants to be in, let me know. And we can just take a world trip and visit everybody. I think that sounds great. Well, have a great day, Lou. Bye.